If you wake up feeling weak, your erections are fading, and you find yourself dragging through the day with no energy, I need to tell you something very clearly. This is not normal aging. This is your body sending out an alarm, warning you that one essential vitamin is missing every single night, and without it, your penis, your strength, and your very vitality are shutting down faster than you realize. I am Dr. Mohit Kara, a urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men rebuild their potency, energy, and confidence. I've seen thousands of men who believed their decline was inevitable, and I've walked with them through a transformation that proved the opposite. Here's the strange paradox. Many men try to eat right, they exercise, they do what they can, and yet they still wake up tired, restless, and powerless in the bedroom. Why? Because no one has told them that their body loses this one vitamin more and more with age, and without it, the nightly recovery system simply fails. But here's the promise I want you to hold on to. When you restore this one vitamin at the right time, at night, your body can begin to change. Potency in the bedroom returns, vigor flows through your muscles again, and your sleep becomes deeper and more healing than you thought possible. In a moment, I'll reveal exactly what this vitamin is, why your body loses it after 60, and the simple nightly routine that can help you reclaim your strength starting tonight. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share could be the most important change you make for your health. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss important health advice designed especially for men over 60. And I'd love your feedback. If you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I know how to improve and bring you even better content. Now, let's get straight into the heart of this message. To truly understand why one vitamin at night can change everything, we first need to look at what happens to a man's body while he sleeps, and why poor nighttime recovery is the very first sign of accelerated aging. 1. Why men feel older at night. When I sit across from men in their 60s and 70s, the same story comes up again and again. They tell me, "Doctor, I went to bed at a reasonable time, I thought I slept through the night, yet when I woke up, it felt like I hadn't slept at all." Their shoulders slump as they admit their energy is gone by mid-morning, their desire has faded, and the strength of their erections just isn't what it used to be. And I can see it in their eyes. They believe this is simply what it means to grow old. But let me tell you the truth. The reason men feel older at night is not because of age itself, it's because their body has lost the ability to recover during sleep. You see, nighttime is not just rest, it is the engine room of your health. While you sleep, your body works harder than most people realize. This is when testosterone is produced at its peak. It's when the blood vessels in your penis expand and repair themselves so you can wake up with those strong morning erections. It's when your prostate takes a break from inflammation. And it's when the mitochondria inside every single cell recharge so you have energy for the day ahead. Sleep is nature's reset button for a man. Without deep, restorative sleep, that reset never happens, and you carry yesterday's exhaustion into today and then into tomorrow. I often think back to one of my patients who said, "Doc, I feel like I aged 20 years overnight." And in a way, he was right, because the difference between a man who feels 60 and one who feels 80 often comes down to the quality of his recovery at night. When sleep is shallow and interrupted, the body cannot rebuild itself, and that decline shows up first where men notice it most, in their vitality, in their performance, and in their confidence as men. But here's the hopeful part. When you restore the body's ability to recover at night, everything begins to change. I've watched men regain their strength, feel sharper in the morning, and even look forward to intimacy again, all because they finally learned how to repair while they slept. And it all starts with something so simple, most men overlook it completely. In fact, it's the very nutrient your body is starving for after 60, and once you restore it, you'll understand why I call it the true night vitamin. So let's talk about what that missing piece really is. 2. The missing piece. Magnesium, the night vitamin. Over the years, I've learned that the male body is remarkably resilient, but it has one condition. It needs the right fuel to recover. And here's where most men unknowingly stumble. They go through their days thinking they've done everything right. A decent diet, some exercise, trying to manage stress. Yet when the sun goes down and their body should be preparing for deep, restorative sleep, something critical is missing. That something is magnesium. I call it the night vitamin because without it, the entire system of male recovery falls apart. Let me explain this in a way that makes sense. When magnesium levels are low, your body doesn't fully switch into its repair mode. You might close your eyes, drift off, even sleep for 6 or 7 hours, but your nervous system remains on alert. Instead of sinking into the deep stages of sleep where testosterone is produced and your blood vessels regenerate, you stay restless, tossing and turning, waking to use the bathroom, or lying there with your mind racing. And the cruel part is that you can't see this deficiency with your eyes. It creeps up silently, robbing you of energy, strength, and potency one night at a time. I remember speaking with a gentleman in his late 60s who told me he felt like his body had betrayed him. He had always been active, but suddenly he was waking up tired, snapping at his wife, and feeling embarrassed by the weakness of his erections. After testing, it was clear he was deficient in magnesium. We restored it, and within weeks, he described feeling alive again. His words, not mine. He said, "Doc, I didn't realize how much of my manhood I had given up until I got it back." That's the power of this one vitamin. Magnesium is the quiet guardian of your potency, vigor, and deep sleep. Without it, your heart beats faster, your muscles stay tense, your prostate struggles, and your erections weaken. With it, your body finally calms down, your sleep deepens, your testosterone rises, and your mornings greet you with strength instead of exhaustion. This is why I often say, if you're over 60 and struggling with fatigue and fading erections, don't blame your age, blame your lack of magnesium. But here's the critical part. Not all magnesium is the same, and this is where most men make their biggest mistake. In fact, choosing the wrong type is the reason so many try it and feel nothing at all. That's why in the next section, I'll reveal the exact forms of magnesium that truly work for men your age, and how they can mean the difference between frustration and a genuine transformation. 3. Why magnesium disappears after 60. One of the most frustrating things I hear from men is this: "Doctor, I eat my vegetables, I snack on nuts, I even take care of myself better than I did when I was younger, so why do I still feel weak, drained, and restless at night?" And I look at them with empathy because I know the answer isn't laziness, it isn't neglect, and it certainly isn't just age catching up with them. The real reason is that after 60, your body simply doesn't hold on to magnesium the way it used to. Even when you do everything right, the mineral that fuels your nightly recovery is quietly slipping away. Think about it this way. When you were younger, the foods you ate were richer in nutrients, and your body absorbed them with ease. The soil that grew those vegetables decades ago was stronger, healthier, and full of minerals. Today, because of modern farming, much of that magnesium has been stripped away. So even when you load your plate with spinach or seeds, you're not getting the same benefit you once did. And to make matters worse, as you age, your digestive system changes. Your gut doesn't absorb nutrients as efficiently, meaning the little magnesium you do consume often passes through without ever reaching your cells. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole at the bottom. You pour and pour, but it never stays full. I'll never forget one man who came to see me, proud of how carefully he ate. He avoided junk food, cooked his meals, and thought he was doing everything possible. Yet he was exhausted and ashamed of how his body had changed. When we tested him, his magnesium levels were shockingly low. He looked at me and said, "Doc, I feel like I've been betrayed by my own body." And in a way, he had been, not by choice, but by the natural process of aging that steals absorption and drains the very mineral his body needed to stay strong. On top of all that, many of the common medications men take after 60, blood pressure pills, statins, or even simple antacids, actually flush magnesium out of the body faster. So while you may think you're supporting your health with these drugs, they're quietly depleting the very nutrient that helps you sleep, heal, and maintain your potency. This is why I say magnesium deficiency is not a sign of poor discipline. It's almost inevitable if you're over 60, and until you replace it in the right way, your body will continue to suffer silently, night after night. But here's where the story gets interesting, because the body has a way of warning you when this deficiency is at play. In fact, there are clear signals you can look for, and once you recognize them, you'll understand exactly what your body has been trying to tell you all along. 4. The silent symptoms of nighttime magnesium deficiency. Over the years, I've come to recognize that the body speaks to us in whispers long before it ever shouts in crisis. For many men over 60, those whispers happen at night. They notice themselves waking 2 or 3 times to use the bathroom, even when their bladder isn't really full. They toss and turn, slipping in and out of strange dreams, never quite resting. Their legs cramp or tingle, forcing them to stretch in the dark. And when morning finally comes, they rise with the heavy weight of exhaustion, as if their bed had given them no rest at all. These are not just random annoyances. They are the fingerprints of magnesium deficiency. I remember one patient who said, "Doc, I feel like I spend the whole night fighting my body instead of recharging it." His words struck me because I knew exactly what he meant. Instead of surrendering to deep, healing sleep, his nervous system was stuck in overdrive. Without enough magnesium to calm his muscles and regulate his nerves, his body never entered the restorative stages of sleep that create testosterone and restore potency. By the time dawn broke, he was already defeated. And it's not just the body, it's the mind, too. Magnesium deficiency has a way of stealing patience, fueling irritability, and creating a kind of low-grade anxiety that lingers all day. Men tell me they snap at their loved ones for no reason, feel restless in their own skin, and notice that the spark of confidence they once carried has dimmed. And perhaps the most personal sign of all, those strong morning erections that once came without effort become weaker, less frequent, or vanish altogether. For many men, that loss isn't just physical, it cuts deeply into their sense of manhood. The tragedy is that most men never connect these symptoms to a simple mineral deficiency. They blame their age, their stress, or even their partners, never realizing that their body is simply crying out for what it no longer has. But once you recognize these signals for what they are, warnings of a deeper imbalance, you hold the power to change your future. Because the good news is, magnesium deficiency does not have to control you. It can be corrected, and when it is, those whispers of discomfort begin to fade. But there's one crucial step you need to understand before making that change. Not all magnesium is created equal, and choosing the wrong kind could leave you just as frustrated as before. In fact, the type of magnesium you take will determine whether your body truly recovers at night or continues to struggle in silence. And that's exactly what we need to uncover next. 5. The right forms of magnesium for men over 60. One of the most important lessons I've learned in my decades of treating men is that it's not enough to simply take a supplement and hope for the best. The form it comes in, the way your body absorbs it, and the way it works with your system can make the difference between disappointment and transformation. Magnesium is no exception. In fact, it's one of the most misunderstood nutrients out there. Walk into any pharmacy and you'll see shelf after shelf of magnesium bottles, each with a different label: oxide, citrate, chloride, glycinate, threonate. Most men assume they're all the same, but let me tell you from experience, they are not. Choosing the wrong form can leave you frustrated, wondering why nothing is changing. Choosing the right one can unlock the very recovery your body has been craving. I think back to a gentleman in his 70s who came to me after trying magnesium on his own. He bought the cheapest bottle he could find at the drugstore, took it faithfully for weeks, and yet he felt no improvement. His sleep was shallow, his energy was flat, and his erections were still weak. When I asked what form he was using, I wasn't surprised to hear it was magnesium oxide, a form that's poorly absorbed and often irritates the stomach. After switching him to the right kind, the change was dramatic. Within days, his nights became calmer, his mornings lighter, and his confidence slowly returned. For men over 60, I focus on 2 specific forms. Magnesium glycinate, sometimes called bisglycinate, is gentle on the stomach and highly absorbable. More importantly, it directly activates the body's relaxation system, easing tense muscles, calming the mind, and preparing you for deep, restorative sleep. It helps blood vessels open, which is critical for strong erections, and it reduces the nighttime anxiety that keeps so many men awake. The second is magnesium L-threonate, unique because it crosses the blood-brain barrier. This form doesn't just help the body, it helps the mind. It sharpens memory, quiets racing thoughts, and allows you to slip back into sleep when you wake in the middle of the night. For men who lie awake with worry, this form can be life-changing. Not all magnesium will give you these results, and that's why making the right choice matters so much. The form you select can decide whether your nights continue to frustrate you or begin to restore you. But there's another secret piece to this puzzle that's just as important as choosing the right form, and it has to do with timing. Because when you take magnesium is just as critical as which type you take, and that's what we'll uncover next. 6. How to take it correctly at night. I've seen far too many men give up on magnesium not because it doesn't work, but because no one ever told them how to take it properly. The truth is, when it comes to restoring your energy, your potency, and your sleep, timing and consistency are just as important as the nutrient itself. Your body follows rhythms. Your heart, your hormones, even your sleep cycle all move to a natural clock. And if you want magnesium to do its job, you have to give it to your body at the exact time it's ready to receive it. That time is at night, about 30 to 60 minutes before you lie down. I often tell my patients to think of magnesium as the key that unlocks the door to restorative sleep. Take it too early, and your body won't feel the full benefit when it's needed most. Take it too late, and you may already have missed the chance to trigger the calm that prepares you for deep rest. But take it at just the right moment, and you'll feel your muscles release their tension, your heartbeat settle into a steady rhythm, and your mind quiet down in a way that feels almost effortless. The dosage matters too. For magnesium glycinate, I generally recommend between 200 and 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium each night. For magnesium L-threonate, the range is 1 to 2 grams, which provides about 144 milligrams of elemental magnesium. The key is to start on the lower end, allow your body to adjust, and then increase if needed. Think of it as teaching your body to trust the rhythm again, step by step, and take it with something soothing, like a warm cup of water or a calming herbal tea such as chamomile or passion flower. This simple ritual signals to your body it's time to shut down, recover, and rebuild. There are also habits that make all the difference. After you take magnesium, avoid staring at your phone, watching late-night television, or sitting under harsh lights. These things confuse your brain into thinking it's still daytime, fighting against the very effect magnesium is trying to create. Instead, dim the lights, breathe deeply, and allow the natural calm to take hold. When you follow this routine consistently, night after night, you're not just taking a supplement, you're resetting your body's entire recovery system. And that's when the real transformation begins. But you may be wondering, what exactly can you expect once you do this? How quickly will the changes appear? And what signs will show you that your body is finally healing? That's where we go next. 7. What to expect. The transformation timeline. One of the most common questions I hear from men is, "Doc, if I start taking this at night, when will I feel the difference?" And I always smile, because I know how eager they are to feel alive again, to reclaim that spark they thought was gone for good. The truth is, your body responds more quickly than you might imagine, and while each man's journey is unique, there's a clear pattern I've seen play out time and time again. In the first few nights, usually within days 1 through 3, most men notice a gentle shift. They fall asleep a little faster, and instead of tossing and turning for hours, they feel their body surrender to rest more naturally. There's a lightness in the muscles, as if a hidden tension has finally been released, and the heart beats with a calm rhythm that carries them into deeper stages of sleep. One man told me, "It felt like my body finally remembered how to turn itself off." Those first few days are often the first taste of real relief. From days 4 to 7, something remarkable begins to happen. The mornings don't feel as heavy. Men wake up with more clarity, less grogginess, and often less urgency to rush to the bathroom during the night. For some, the return of spontaneous morning erections comes as both a surprise and a gift, a sign that their blood vessels and testosterone production are coming back online. The body feels lighter, stronger, more energized, and with that comes something even more powerful, the return of hope. By the end of 2 full weeks, the transformation becomes undeniable. Sleep stretches into a solid 6 to 8 hours without interruption. The constant nervous energy and anxious thoughts fade into the background, and the libido that felt distant suddenly feels natural again. Men tell me they look at their partners differently, with a spark they thought had vanished. They carry themselves with a quiet confidence that radiates from within. One man put it best when he said, "I feel like myself again, only younger." And remember, all of this happens without drugs, without synthetic hormones, and without dangerous side effects. Just by giving the body back what it has been missing, the natural rhythm of recovery takes over and rebuilds you from the inside out. But before you rush to get started, there are a few common mistakes that can derail your progress and leave you wondering why it didn't work. Knowing these pitfalls can be the difference between frustration and lasting results, and that's exactly what I want to show you next. 8. Avoid these 3 common mistakes. I can't tell you how many times I've met men who said, "Doctor, I tried magnesium and it didn't do a thing for me." And every time, when I dig a little deeper, I discover the problem wasn't magnesium itself, it was the way they were using it. The truth is, even the most powerful remedy can fail if it's taken the wrong way. And unfortunately, there are 3 common mistakes that rob men of the results they desperately want. The first mistake is choosing the wrong form. Magnesium oxide is the most common type sold in stores because it's cheap to manufacture. But cheap doesn't mean effective. In fact, magnesium oxide is poorly absorbed by the body and often causes stomach upset or diarrhea. One patient of mine took it faithfully for weeks, only to feel worse. When I switched him to magnesium glycinate, the change was night and day. He told me, "I thought magnesium didn't work, but really I just didn't know what I was buying." That's the trap so many fall into. The second mistake is taking it at the wrong time of day. Magnesium is a natural relaxer. It calms your nerves, eases your muscles, and prepares your body for sleep. Taking it in the morning can actually backfire, leaving you sluggish and sleepy when you need energy the most. One man admitted he had been taking it with his breakfast for months, wondering why his afternoons felt so heavy. Once he shifted it to nighttime, his body finally responded the way it was meant to. Timing isn't just important, it's everything. The third mistake is inconsistency. I see this all the time. A man starts strong, takes a supplement for a few days, and then skips a night, then a weekend, then forgets altogether. Magnesium doesn't work like a switch. It builds up, restoring balance night after night. If you skip doses, your body never finds its rhythm. Think of it like planting seeds. You don't water them once and expect a garden. You water them every day until life takes root. Your body deserves the same commitment. These mistakes are so common, yet they're so easy to avoid once you know the truth. And when you do, magnesium finally has the chance to work the way nature intended. But here's something many men don't realize. Even when you're consistent, the results can be made dramatically stronger when magnesium is paired with a few key nutrients. This powerful combination can supercharge your recovery and your vitality, and that's exactly what I'll share with you next. 9. The secret boost: magnesium plus zinc plus vitamin B6. Over the years, I've noticed something fascinating when helping men restore their vitality. Magnesium on its own is powerful, but when you give the body a few extra building blocks alongside it, the results are often faster, deeper, and longer lasting. Think of it like tuning up an old engine. You don't just change the oil, you also replace the spark plugs and clean the filters so the whole machine runs better. For men over 60, the perfect tune-up comes from pairing magnesium with zinc and vitamin B6. Together, this trio is sometimes called ZMA, and for good reason. It has been a game-changer for countless men who thought their best days were gone. Let's talk about why. Magnesium sets the stage by calming the body, deepening sleep, and allowing testosterone production to rise naturally. Zinc then steps in to support that testosterone, strengthening the very foundation of male potency. Without enough zinc, the body struggles to maintain normal levels of the hormone that fuels desire, energy, and muscle recovery. I've had patients who were shocked to discover that a simple lack of zinc was quietly undermining their strength for years. Once they replenished it, their sense of manhood began to return in ways they hadn't expected. Then there's vitamin B6, the unsung hero. B6 helps your body actually use the magnesium and zinc you take in, making sure these nutrients don't just pass through your system, but go to work where they're needed most. It also plays a key role in balancing mood and supporting brain health, which is why so many men tell me they feel calmer and clearer when they combine these three together. I remember one man in his late 60s who had nearly given up on supplements. He'd tried magnesium alone and noticed some improvement, but still felt like something was missing. When we added zinc and B6 to his nightly routine, he came back weeks later almost in disbelief. His sleep was solid, his energy in the morning was steady, and he told me with a smile he hadn't seen in years, "Doc, my wife says I'm a new man." That moment reminded me why this combination is so important. It doesn't just change the body, it changes lives. So yes, magnesium is the foundation, but when you combine it with zinc and vitamin B6, you give your body the full recipe it needs to restore testosterone, rebuild energy, and reignite desire. And the results can feel nothing short of remarkable. But there's still one final truth I need you to hear, something that goes deeper than any single vitamin or supplement. Because ultimately, the question isn't just about nutrients, it's about what kind of man you want to be in this next chapter of your life. And that's exactly what I want to leave you with next. 10. The emotional core. Why this matters. Whenever I speak to men about their health, I remind them that what we're really talking about isn't just sleep or testosterone or even erections. It's the very essence of how you feel about yourself as a man. Too often, fatigue, poor sleep, and fading potency are accepted as the normal price of aging, and that acceptance slowly steals more than energy. It steals confidence, intimacy, and joy. I've seen men avoid the mirror because they don't recognize the face looking back. I've heard husbands admit they've stopped reaching for their wives, not out of lack of love, but out of shame. These moments break my heart because I know deep down, this decline is not inevitable. Your body is not failing because the clock has run out. It is struggling because it has been starved of the fuel it needs to recover. When you give it back that fuel, when you restore magnesium, zinc, and B, you aren't just repairing a nutrient deficiency. You are waking up a part of yourself that never truly disappeared, it only went dormant. The spark of vitality, the fire of intimacy, the energy that makes life exciting, all of it is still inside you, waiting to be awakened. I'll never forget a patient who came to me nearly defeated. He was in his late 60s, quiet, shoulders slumped, convinced that life had passed him by. Weeks after rebuilding his nightly routine, he walked into my office taller, smiling, with a light in his eyes I hadn't seen before. "Doc," he said, "I feel like I got a piece of myself back. My wife says I laugh again." That is what this is really about. Not just stronger sleep or better mornings, but the return of the man you thought you'd lost. I want you to carry this truth with you. Virility doesn't have an expiration date. Strength, passion, clarity, they don't vanish with age. They fade when your body stops recovering, and they return when you help it heal at night. This is why I call sleep the foundation of manhood. Because when your nights are strong, your days can be powerful. But before we finish, I need to leave you with one final message, a conclusion that ties everything together and shows you exactly how to take back control of your health, your energy, and your vitality starting tonight. It's the piece that could change the way you think about aging forever. Conclusion. Call to action. Gentlemen, we've walked through a truth that too many men never hear. The nights that leave you restless, the mornings that drain you before the day even begins, the fading strength of your erections, the loss of energy and confidence, all of it has less to do with age and more to do with what your body is missing. Magnesium is not just a mineral. For men over 60, it is the night vitamin, the quiet foundation that allows your body to recover, rebuild, and rise with strength again. When it is gone, you feel it in every part of your life. When it is restored, you begin to feel alive again. I've seen men come back from the edge of despair simply by giving their bodies the fuel they were missing. I've seen sleep deepen, mornings brighten, and intimacy return to marriages that felt lost. I've witnessed the pride in a man's voice when he tells me he feels like himself again. And I want you to know, this isn't reserved for someone else. It's available to you, too. Age is not the enemy. Neglect is. And now that you know the truth, you hold the power to change it. So here is my challenge to you. Commit to yourself tonight. Take the right form of magnesium, take it at the right time, and give it the consistency it deserves. Pair it with zinc and Bix if you can, and protect your nights as the sacred time of recovery that they are. Because your best years are not behind you, they are waiting to be unlocked. Your virility, your vigor, your deep and healing sleep can all return. But it begins with a choice, and that choice starts tonight with one simple step.